What is going on, everybody? I am back with another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. This time it is a RU battle that I had against the TheFlawlessWin. Now, we came up with this, we got this RU list by going to Smogon, the February usage stats, going to the 1760 UU stats, and using everything below the 3.4% cutoff, because that's usually the cutoff for the tiers. So that's what we're using for this RU list. Not saying that this is what RU will look like when it does happen at the end of the month, because I'm pretty sure somewhere on the Smogon threads I remember reading that RU was going to go into beta, I guess, at the end of the March stats. So it's something to look forward to for me personally, and anybody else who likes the lower tiers such as myself, as most of you should probably know at this point. But yeah, so anyways, my opponent's team, biggest threat on his team is easily going to be the Bayonet, because Mega Bayonet, 165 attack and having priority Destiny Bond just means that it can kill whatever it wants to. Literally, like, just goes for Destiny Bonding. It's the biggest threat. It's like, oh, you're gonna die now. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to play carefully around that thing. So yeah. Anywho, let's just move on with the battle, I guess. So, my opponent, he's going to decide to lead off with his Heliolisk, as I decided to lead off with my Cinccino. So, once again, we both lead off with our Volt Switcher, U-Turner, respectively. And I'm just going to go for the U-Turn right off the bat, and seeing as he switches out immediately, tells me that he is not Choice Scarf, which is good to know. Either that, or he's, I don't know. But he ends up going to Steelix because Steelix just walls the crap out of Cinccino. And since he went into that, I'm going to go into my Clawitzer, because Clawitzer is probably it is the biggest check to this Steelix and the biggest threat to his Steelix. Yeah, so predicting him to want to go into either his Slowking or his Heliolisk to take a Dark Pulse, specifically his Slowking, because didn't want to risk going for the Aura Sphere in case he wanted to go into a Slowking. I went for the Dark Pulse, and I do hit that thing on the switch in, and it does a bunch of damage. So I'm gonna see if I can convince him that I am Choice Specs, and go into my Yuxi in case he does want to switch into his Hitmonchan to try to resist the Dark Pulse. And he does exactly that, so I'm gonna get a free turn to set up my rocks as he switches Hitmonchan out, goes right into his Bayonet. Now right here, he's gonna get a free Mega or safe Mega Evolution off, and I'm just gonna go for a U-turn because I don't want to leave Yuxi in, because I kind of want to keep Yuxi around in case he spins away my rocks at any point, because if I can get the rocks up, that will severely hinder his Swellow survivability, considering that thing's going to be going for Brave Birds like no tomorrow. Plus with the Toxic Orb and Stealth Rocks and Brave Bird recoil, it's going to limit his survivability. That's the biggest reason I want the rocks up. So, going to Heliolisk because I feel like Heliolisk isn't as important in this game, so that's the number one thing I had to fodder off against his Bayonet. But he just goes to knock off and actually managed to live it with very little HP, and he knocked off my Choice Specs, which kind of had me worried, thinking that, oh, now he knows my Clawitzer isn't Choice Specs because he saw that my Heliolisk had Choice Specs, but whatever. So, he just goes into his own Heliolisk, just Volt Switches, kills off my Heliolisk, ends up going to his Swellow. Now here I went into my Cinccino, went straight for the Tail Slap because even if he did have the Quick Attack, I feel like I could have survived it, so going for the Tail Slap to kill that thing off. So just the way that he switched out kind of tells me that maybe he doesn't have the Quick Attack. Either that, or he does have it and he doesn't feel like Quick Attack will be enough to take out my Cinccino from full HP, and he doesn't want to risk losing that thing so early, considering I have 2 Pokemon weak to the Brave Bird. So, gonna go into my Go-Go now as his Steelix just sets up the rocks, knowing I'm going to have to switch out because I'm locked into the Tail Slap. Went for the rocks out of here, predicting him to maybe want to go into the Swellow to take a Earthquake or a Horn Leech. But it was kind of a stupid play on my part. I should have just gone straight for the Horn Leech, because even though Swellow does resist it, it's not exactly the bulkiest of all things, and it's definitely not going to appreciate taking the Stealth Rocks, the Horn Leech damage, and the Toxic and the Poison damage from his Toxic Orb. So he just goes for the Roar and brings in my Clawitzer. Went for the Aura Sphere right there, figuring that maybe he would just want to go into his Hitmonchan, even though I should have just gone for the Scald. Or yeah, I do have Scald, not Water Pulse. But here I just decided to go for the Dark Pulse, as he actually goes for the Toxic, misses it, which honestly in the long run didn't really matter too much, just because you'll find that out eventually. So, just decided to take out the Slowking, went for the Skull just to take it out in case he wanted to go into, I don't know. But, now it brings in Heelisk. Now, right here, I am Assault Vest, so I think I run the calcs after the battle. I can live a Thunderbolt from this thing, even if it is choice specs. But, really wanted to keep my my Clawitzer at as much HP as I can because it, did I say it before? I don't know. But it is my #1 Pokemon to handle his Steelix. So, just went into my Yuxi as he just Volt switches into his Bayonet. And right here, I have nothing to deal with this, or I have nothing I want to switch into this Bayonet, so I'm just going to stay in, go for a knockoff, get as much damage off of this thing as I can. I get a pretty good 20% off on it, which, hey, I'm not going to complain, damage is damage, but do manage to live my Shadows, or his knockoff, but Shadow Steak is a thing. So right here, went into my Go-Go, decided to go for a bulk up because I figured he was just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp to try to burn me, and I mean, I just want to get a bulk up off to kind of cancel that out, which is pretty much what I do. Gonna go for a Horn Leech right now just because it is the move I have to hit everything on his team for some pretty good damage. And like I said before, Swellow's not gonna like switching into a Horn Leech after the Stealth Rocks and all that kind of stuff. And I actually managed to do a good half, 50% to this Hitmonchan, which is really awesome. But so now here he's gonna have to decide whether or not he wants to spin away the rocks or try to kill off or get some damage off on my Go-Goat. But knowing I am at +1 defense, he really can't do a whole lot, so he's just gonna opt to go for the Rapid Spin, get rid of the rocks, which I guess was the better play for him because now his Swellow will be able to come in more safely than he would have with the rocks up. Duh. But yeah, so Hitmonchan's dead, which is a kill for Go-Go, which is pretty cool. Really can't wait to use Go-Go down in NU when that happens, because pretty sure this thing's gonna be NU. But in comes Swellow. I'm just gonna leave the Go-Go in to die, because no point in switching out, because I'm just gonna lose my +1, which is something I really don't want to do, and Go-Go's pretty much useless anyways. Plus, if the Swellow does want to go for the Brave Bird, then he will be taking a ton of recoil, because I am max HP on Go-Go, so that's good to know. So going to my Cinccino, just going to go for a U-turn this time, because if he does want to go for a quick attack, then a U-turn will still be enough to bring him down to a point where Poison, I feel like, would be able to take him out. But he just ends up switching out. So into Steelix, going to U-turn into my Clawitzer, because like I said before, Clawitzer is my #1 switch into things. So right here, I believe I just went for a Dark Pulse. No, I think I just went for an Aurasphere, predicting his Heelisk to want to switch in to take a Scald. But, no, okay, right here, what was I expecting? I think I could have switched into my Cinccino? I don't know. But either way, I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse to take out his Bayonet, as he does end up going for the Decibot. So now at this point, things are looking kind of bad for me, because all I have left is Cinccino and Gourgeist. He still has Swellow, Steelix, and his own Heelisk. So things are just not exactly looking too good for me. So I'm just going to decide to go for the U-turn right here, go into my Gourgeist, because Gourgeist is honestly the best thing I have to deal with Steelix, because Gourgeist can take every hit Steelix wants to throw at me, and Gourgeist can stall this thing out if it really needs to, which is practically what I'm going to resort to for this chunk of the battle, because a lot of this is just me having Gourgeist waiting for this thing to die. But yeah, so he just ends up going for the Roar because he doesn't want my Gourgeist to just sap HP off of him and things, I guess. But I'm going to go for a Bullet Seed just because it's honestly the only move I have to hit Steelix with. So I'm just want to get as much damage off on this thing as possible, because that will just limit the amount of stall this thing is going to have to. Anyways, right here, I think he just went for the Roar, predicting me to want to go into my Gourgeist to deal with this thing. I don't know, but all that's really going on right here is, like I said, Gourgeist just trying to stall the Steelix, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to kill the Steelix at this point. So, yeah. Anywho, I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about right here. I don't know. But, yeah. Cinccino's gonna die. All I have left is this Gourgeist. So, yeah, Stally stuff's gonna happen. So, oh, okay, so I kept on going for Leech Seeds. I could have gone for Will-O-Wisp to burn this thing, but I didn't want him to get a safe switch into his Swellow to take, because if I went for Will Lisp, he could have easily just gone into Swallow and absorb the bird and just do all that stuff. But right here, okay, this part here we have a Swallow, 403 attack practically, thanks to Guts, going for a stab, super effective, base 120 power move against a Gourgeist, and Gourgeist lives. So, Gourgeist, everybody. Gourgeist. This is why you use Gourgeist instead of Trevenant. But, yeah, so pretty much at this point, I could just go for Leech Seed on his Steelix and Gyro Ball. I actually gain more HP than he does to me with Gyro Ball, which I'm going to assume is his only move because he has Roar, Gyro Ball, Stealth Rock. Roar, Gyro Ball, Stealth Rock. Earthquake? Yeah, it's probably Earthquake. And Earthquake, it's resisted. So, yeah. Anyway, that was a good game. So hopefully you all did enjoy this game. If you did, feel free to leave comments down below. Definitely do not forget to show the like button some love. And if you enjoyed this content and you're not subscribed to me already and wish to see more from me in the near future, then feel free to click that subscribe button down below. So with all that stuff being said, thanks for watching and peace.